Here at the Masternodes, we are not making any claims as to income you may earn. Before entering any agreement, please use caution and seek the advice of a professional advisor, such as attorney or financial advisor.
Please ensure your own research is done before investing any money into the market. Thank you all for joining today's podcast. My name is Ryan Prendez. This is my boy Nestor Sanchez,
Yo, what's up, guys?
and we are the Master Nodes. Remember to follow and subscribe to our personal social media accounts to stay up to date with us. My name is Ryan, or Rye the Crypto Guy on Instagram. My boy's Nestor's is at Masternode1. And make sure to stay to the end to hear some additional resources we provide to get y'all a little zoned into cryptocurrency. Today's topic is going to be DYOR, or doing your own research.
Yes, sir. So Dior, this is what everybody talks about. You know, Pop Smoke. He was saying this in his music all the time, because he wants you to do your own research at the end of the day. So what we mean by this is basically you want to
Rest in peace, Pop
provide
Smoke.
what?
I was like, rest in peace, Pop Smoke.
Absolutely. Wait. All right. So what we mean by this is basically you could be provided with all the information and all the resources you need, but at the end of the day, it's all about you, your specific trading style, how much risk you can take, and at the end of the day, it's all noise if it doesn't apply to you specifically. So everybody's gonna tell you different things that you should invest in. You're gonna hear it on TikTok. You're gonna hear it from us. You're gonna hear it from any other crypto guru out there in the world, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about how you invest and what you want to invest into. Because if you don't do your own research, this is what's going to happen. It's going to, whether your asset does really good or really bad, you're not going to know why it's going to be doing really good or really bad. So this is going to be very problematic down the road when there's a dip or a correction, because you're not going to understand why your asset is losing value, and that's going to put a lot of fear into you. And what's going to happen is you're going to sell that asset. So not knowing what you're investing into can cause a lot of problems, and it can kind of make you do a little bit of like dumb things because you don't necessarily understand what is happening with your asset. So make sure to do your own research that fits your own style, that fits your risk management. And for some examples, older people, they want to be less risk averse because they have retirement coming up. They need that money in order to survive later on because they can't work. Younger people can take a little bit more risk. So maybe going all into Bitcoin is what they want to do as a younger person, because they can take that risk because their retirement, um, their age of retirement is a long time from now. So they're going to be stacking their bread for a while now. Some ways you can use resources, or some resources that you can use, are like FTX and CoinGecko. It's basically information on the crypto markets, like coin market caps. You have market caps in general. You have coin all-time highs, all-time lows, coin and developer information, what exchanges that coin can be found on, and much more. Also portfolio trackers, so you can see exactly how much you have in terms of accumulation for each individual coin, and see how it fends in terms of your whole portfolio. So that's pretty cool using FTX and CoinGecko. CoinDesk is also a great one. It provides basically news for cryptocurrency in general, whether it's laws, whether it's new legislation coming out, whether it's people adapting, businesses adapting to it. I've seen news even on like the metaverse. So all that stuff is going to be found on CoinDesk as well. You have Coinbase Learn and Earn, which is great. It's education, and it also teaches you about specific cryptocurrencies that come out on Coinbase's exchange, and that actually pay you to learn about it. So now not only are you learning about a new cryptocurrency, but you're getting paid in that cryptocurrency to actually learn about it. So that's pretty cool.
Also, when doing your own research, you want to look into the total supply. So, if there's a lower total supply, it could imply scarcity, which could raise the price in certain situations. This has an effect on also how we value things. We could take a look at gold and see that due to the limited amount of gold in rotation on planet Earth, that is mined, it will continue to rise against the US dollar and really any dollar. US dollar, on the other hand, is constantly printed by the Fed on an as needed basis, which will in turn destroy the spending power over time. Our fiat, on average, loses around 2 to 3% to inflation every year. As a matter of fact, this past year, we lost a 6% to inflation. On the other hand, Bitcoin has a total supply of 21 million Bitcoin, which has to be split amongst the world. One of the reasons why Bitcoin keeps its high value momentum rather than and appreciates rather than depreciates is its supply cap, because people notice that it's really scarce. So because it's scarce, people are like, oh, their mentality is like, oh, I need to get as much as I can, because eventually there's going to be a point where people can't buy anymore. They're going to have to buy from me. And then I could go ahead and set the value of how much I want to sell my Bitcoin for based on how much the community is raising its price to sell their Bitcoin for as well.
Yeah, and I kind of want to add this. It's kind of based on like supply and demand, right? If there's
Yes.
more gold influx, then gold is going to actually be worth less, right? Because there's
Mhm.
more gold. So with Bitcoin, its supply is actually it's steady and it gets cut in half every 4 years. So every 4 years, gold gets more and more scarce. So that's why in the last 12 years it's gone from literal zero to now where it's at right now, which is 43,000 right now. So
Mhm.
that's pretty crazy, the explosive growth that it's had. And another thing we want to talk about is opportunity cost. So what opportunity cost is the cost is the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. For example, if you have $20 to your name and you want to invest, and let's just say you choose Bitcoin to invest in. If you choose Bitcoin, that means you can't invest those same $20 into the stock market. You can't invest those $20 into XRP or into gold. So those would be the opportunity costs. And you got to keep this stuff in mind, because if you're investing into very risky trades, then the opportunity cost is now not being able to invest into Bitcoin, not being able to invest into Ethereum, not being able to hold that money into cash. So definitely keep these in mind, because there's a million ways to make $1 million, but not everyone is going to be the best one for you. So keeping your long-term kind of investments in mind, you want to make sure that you're keeping in mind other opportunity costs. So everybody, like all these cryptocurrency people on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, they're gonna tell you all these different types of coins that you have to invest in to make $1 million if you want to be rich, and all this stuff. But what is the opportunity cost? Now you're not able to use that money to then buy Bitcoin, which we know for sure has only a 21 million cap. So we know that for sure over time it's going to inflate or actually appreciate in value against the US dollar. So keeping these stuff in mind is very vital when you're keeping your long-term investment strategy into play. Just kind of noticing what you can invest into versus maybe what you should invest into, or kind of making sure that when you're taking these riskier investments, you have that other stuff in mind.
So with opportunity cost, you kind of have to do like a cost benefit analysis sort of, right? In order to
Absolutely.
like kind of make sure that what you're putting your money into can give you, a satisfactory return in the end. I
Yeah.
mean, right, with this scenario, we're only talking about $20, but let's say it was like $30,000 over a
Mhm.
year. You want to make sure you're investing into the right asset so that
Yeah.
way you get that correct return.
And one way you could kind of check that is by looking into Bitcoin's past. So you could see, oh, how much on average has Bitcoin gone up? And I think the answer to that is around 150 or to 200% a year. So on average, it's gone up 150 to 200%. So that would be the opportunity cost if you're buying, a different asset. You could be potentially risking that percentage. So that's kind of stuff you kind of have to like, check on both sides. Is XRP better in terms of average per year or Bitcoin? Or should I just hold it in the US dollar? Let me answer that right now. Don't hold it in the US dollar.
Yeah, no, definitely do not hold it in the US dollar. Okay, so finally, we're going to be talking about store of value. So, store of value is something that will not only keep the original investment's value, but combats inflation and financial problems. This could be a lot of different things, such as gold, precious metals, art, real estate, and so many more. Bitcoin is actually arguably the most and the best store of value out there currently. It is liquid, which means at any time you could cash out. It is also scarce, with only 21 million in circulation. There's also an open 24/7 market for it. It's trustworthy. And best of all, it's deflationary. These are just some of the reasons and some of the things we want you guys to keep in mind when investing, because you guys got to remember we're in it for the long term, which means we always encourage you guys to be in it for the long term, not what's going to happen a week, a month, 3 months, 4 months, even a year from now. We're concerned of what's going to happen 10, 20, 30 years from now. This is called setting up generational wealth, people. And when you guys set up your own generational wealth, you guys want to make sure that you guys are doing your own research. Doing your own research is key and vital to figuring out what assets you can into that will be valuable 10, 20, 30 years from now. Not what assets are going to be valuable today and then lose its value within the next couple weeks. Dogecoin. So yeah, so you guys just want to make sure that you guys are doing your own research and make sure that you guys are staying ahead of the game.
Definitely. There's no way you can make generational wealth in a year. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. So
Well,
that kind of
actually, okay, no, that's not a lie because I do know someone. Shout out to my boy Warren. Warren literally had popped off with NFTs this year. So it's not that there's no way that it could be done, but it's a very very risky process
yeah, and
and
even he
very
he didn't do it in a year. It took a
yeah,
lot of
that's true.
learning and stuff beforehand.
Oh,
So
definitely, yeah.
that year
Because
was
he
like
had to
the
get his
was the breakout.
experience. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He had to get his experience.
Yes.
And it
Exactly.
wasn't even in NFTs that he got his experience. He actually came up selling shoes, and he actually is a shoe reseller. You also check him out. He came up selling shoes and knew how the trading market with that worked. So just applied his knowledge to NFTs, and man, good shout out to
He made it
Warren.
work. Exactly. So that kind of concludes today's podcast. Thank you guys for listening. As always, remember to follow and subscribe to all of our social media accounts. We have Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of them at the Masternodes. Visual podcast experience can be found on YouTube, and our audio podcast experience can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and all your other favorite podcast resources. Make sure to visit our website at www.themasternodes.com. Subscribe to that email list to receive the latest and greatest cryptocurrency information.
And as always, we love featuring testimonials on our podcast. We haven't been doing it as much lately, but we're getting back to it. So if y'all want to submit your testimonials, please submit it to us. We love sharing them. This week's testimonial or featured testimonial comes from a Karen Chavez. She said, Ryan helped me understand what cryptocurrency is, how it works, and why it is important. He displayed a clear passion towards helping others and showed me he was well aware about what cryptocurrency is. He is nice and totally someone a person can rely and depend on when one needs help. So thank you so much, Karen, for sharing that testimonial. We appreciate it. And, like I said, if you guys ever get help from us and you guys want to go ahead and be featured on our podcast as a featured testimonial of the week, please don't hesitate to submit a testimonial to us and we can go ahead and submit it in our podcast.
All right, make sure to check out next week's podcast. It's going to be on news of the week. We're going to let you know everything you need to know about next week's news. And as always, make sure to choose kindness and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining today's podcast. Much appreciated as always, and bless up.